Welcome back to the Gridiron Gurus. And I know it's been a while, guys, but we're back, and it's going to be better than ever. We're bringing you our Super Bowl reaction video right now.
All right, where I want to start is just how the Eagles came out and played aggressive. From quarter one to quarter four, it seems like. 4th and goal, we're going for it. With a trick play that you just saw the Patriots run before that. That shows that Doug Pearson's not afraid to take a shot, and you can't be afraid to take a shot. This is the last game of the season no matter what. So let's go out here and play the best football we've ever played, right? And you're doing it with a backup quarterback. So the amount of trust you put in Nick Foles was just amazing in my opinion. And let's see, what I want to say went wrong for the Patriots is they just got away from that running game. We see James White bust a 20-yard run play for a touchdown, and then we just let Tom Brady throw the ball. I know he's the greatest quarterback, but getting that pass rush off is what their main concern was, and the screen pass didn't do it. Okay, so let's run the ball. And then they're successful running the ball, so what is the phrase? Keep running it until they stop me. They didn't do that. They put the ball in the hands of their playmaker, and it didn't work out in the end. What went right for the Eagles was, like I said, the aggressiveness. And if you're going to play that aggressive on a team that was ranked 29th in defense, it worked out. You put Eric Rowe in, and you man him up on Alshon Jeffrey. Alshon Jeffrey is probably one of the tallest, most talented receivers in the league. They could have threw it up probably 3 more times, just threw it up in the back of the end zone, and Alshon Jeffrey would have caught it over him because the defense that he was playing was not acceptable at all. Malcolm Butler has to play in the Super Bowl. So I can't stress that enough. Anyways, that's just what I feel went wrong for the Patriots, what went right for the Eagles, and led the Eagles to a Super Bowl victory this year.
All right, the Eagles played a fantastic game. There wasn't really anything that went wrong. They stuck right with their game plan. LeGarrette Blount against his former team was gashing them. I got to say, the running game worked well. They were very good to balance that in. And I cannot stress this enough. The reason the Eagles won is the reason the Jaguars lost the weeks prior in the championship game. They stayed aggressive. They said, all right, we're going to go for it on 4th down. We're going to throw the ball. I trust Nick Foles enough. The reason the Jaguars lost is they got up on the lead and was like, oh, we're going to run it. We're going to run it. We're scared to throw the ball. We can't do this. They were like, oh, we're going to take chances. We're going to take chances. We're going to throw deep to Alshon. Nelson Agholor just slams was killing them. I got to say that the Eagles stuck with everything on their game plan, and it just completely worked, gashing them over and over and over again. The Patriots couldn't stop a soul. Nelson Agholor was killing. Hurts was on fire. Alshon Jeffrey was on fire. Torrey Smith caught some good balls. It was like they couldn't guard anyone at all. The defense, there was no pass rush to be asserted at all. Bill Belichick is supposed to be known for his defense, but it looked horrendous, giving up 41 points to Nick Foles. To Nick Foles. He's great and all, but he is the backup quarterback. There was a reason Carson Wentz was starting before. You've played better offenses than this before. They beat the greatest show on turf for their first Super Bowl. My goodness, I cannot stress this enough. How well the Eagles deserve this more than the Patriots did. It's just how it is.
Moving on, we want to talk about what these teams need to do to get back to the Super Bowl, and I'm going to start with the Patriots. And what I'm going to say is you got to have an offensive line. Tom Brady's going to be 41 next season. In the Super Bowl, hits started to show. He was missing passes, missing throws, and when they threw him a wide receiver pass, I thought he was about to get eaten up. It was about to be dead. He was about to die, like Brandon Cooks did. Rip. Yeah. But you got to beef up that offensive line. You've got the weapons. You got Brandon Cooks. You got Rob Gronkowski. The defense also needs improvement, but I feel like that's more of a motivation thing. When you have Dante Hightower, and if you play Malcolm Butler for start, just things like that, you can motivate that. But the offensive line played horrendous pretty much all season long. There was no talent that I saw there. There was a few signs of life, I give it, but it wasn't like they were playing the best pass rushes those weeks. They were playing mediocre teams like the Bills pass rush, who didn't have Marcel Darius anymore or anything like that. The Eagles, there's secondary, I guess, could be improved, but there wasn't much that I saw going wrong for them in the Super Bowl to say that they needed to improve.
Very young, got folks signed, drafted most of them. The Eagles look like they could mess around and come back for the next few years. Contenders.
Even with a second-year coach and now a third-year coach, they can even grow with coaching staff. So
right.
Anything.
I can say that all they got to do is get back. The Eagles just got to make sure they keep their players. There's always somewhere you can improve. Like he said, the secondary. The secondary can be improved in the first round this year. You take somebody, traded Nick Foles, get you up there in the first round. You can take Josh Jackson out of Iowa. He'd be a huge piece. I think he's, in my opinion, the best cornerback out of this draft class. That's one of the only weaknesses I see. Maybe Jason Peters, we don't know how hell he's going to come back out for injury. And I got to say, Big V did get James Harrison got you a few times, and it was like, ugh, he did you bad there a few plays. I got to say, Big V, I think you need to go and get a replacement for him. Somebody that, because Jason Peters has been hurt, I think 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Been off and on.
So I think maybe I don't know if he's going to retire or what, but I think it's about time to get an heir apparent to your left tackle. And there's not many weaknesses on this Eagles team. They have a chance with this young quarterback coming back. They beat them with the backup quarterback, with coming back, who is in MVP form. If Carson Wentz gets back healthy, you see them being a contender for a very long time. The Patriots, on the other hand, Bill, you definitely burned your thing with your best defensive back. Malcolm Butler is definitely better than Stephon Gilmore, in my opinion. I don't know what you were thinking right there. He is definitely not coming back in free agency, and you saw how bad everybody else got toasted. I mean, even Stephon Gilmore, after Eric Rowe got burnt by Alshon Jeffrey a few times, they were like, oh no, we need to get Stephon Gilmore on Alshon Jeffrey. And then Nelson Aguilar had 90-something yards and a touchdown. And there was no stop. The tight ends look, I don't know how to explain it. The offense is going to be okay. But Tom Brady getting a little bit older, TB12, all that magic crap that you're going to talk about, him getting better. I mean, he will get to an end eventually, and it'll be something around the Peyton Manning. A few years ago, Peyton Manning won MVP, went to the Super Bowl, and then the very next year, it was like he like fell off a darn cliff. He was throwing ducks. Brock Osweiler looked better than him leading the Broncos to the Super Bowl. What you really need to do in the last few years of Brady's career is like what happened with Peyton. They switched from a highly offensive team where he won MVP, broke all those records, and to a more defensive team. And the defense in Denver is still good to this day. The defense will keep you in a lot of ball games, and Brady still has a mind better than everybody. So if you can improve this defense, I mean, of course they got cap because they're not paying anybody. I think they need to go out and try to improve this defense as much as they can. Trading Jimmy G to get that second round pick. You definitely need to get a pass rush. Pass rush is big. Nick Foles sat back and picked out where he was going to go have dinner after he won that trophy that he obviously saw. That was pinpointing. It was crazy. Nick Foles looked like Joe Montana in the Super Bowl. It was horrendous. 370 yards, 3 touchdowns. It was...
And a receiving touchdown.
And a receiving touchdown. You're right. At least he caught his pass. I can see the Patriots getting back, but it's looking less and less likely. We say that every year, but if it's anything like Peyton Manning happened, he had an MVP year, and then he fell off a cliff.
Now we want to say just one more topic, and it's going to be what happens to Nick Foles. And both of us, I think, are in agreement on this, that he is not going to be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles next year. He's not going to be the highest paid backup. There's no way that you can not start the MVP, what would have been the MVP, and there's no way you bench the Super Bowl MVP. So what do? You got to part ways with one of them. And in my opinion, Nick Foles is the guy you're parting ways with. There's no way you get rid of no argument. Carson Wentz was your MVP, just got hurt. Okay, you can't do anything about that. Okay, you move on, come back. Nick Foles has the highest trade value of any quarterback right now after a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, backup wise,
definitely
backup wise. I'm not saying he's greater than Tom Brady by any means, but you could trade him for maybe a first-round pick, or like trade for a first-round pick. Maybe get the Browns' fourth-round pick is something we mentioned, or the Bills have 2 picks in the first round, something you mentioned. There's a lot of options they can go here with this. They can get future picks if they want to get future talent. If they see something in the future, they have options here. But I feel like Nick Foles will not be playing in an Eagles uniform, nor will he be sitting in the bench in an Eagles uniform next year.
This all depends on how the doctors tell how Carson Wentz is developing in his injury. I mean, I know it just happened in Week 14, but is he going to be ready for Week 1? Is he going to be ready for training camp? we got to find that out before we get rid of Nick Foles, because all we know, he had a pretty gruesome injury, tearing his ACL and his
PCL.
His PCL. That's what it was. I knew it was MCL, but he tore both of them completely, and that's a nasty injury to come from. And you saw what happened with Derek Carr this year. He tore his ACL and MCL, I think it was, for him, and then he came back. He was MVP for him. He came back and wasn't near as good as you know. It's a little shaky. It's how it always goes. It was a masterful year. You get hurt, and it's going to be a little shaky year until you start like trusting your knee again. Is what I'm thinking. And then I think that's how it's going to be with them. With this injury, it's going to be really big. So do you wait? Do you keep Nick Foles for the last year of his contract, just in case Carson Wentz isn't back tremendously? You can like set him till week 3, week 4, let him get his feet in when you're blowing teams out. I mean,
that's week 8 trade deadline. So
that's something big, and or maybe his value's at an all-time high, and you say, okay, we're going to go trade for the 4th pick in the draft instead of the Browns taking a young quarterback. I'm sure Hugh Jackson definitely wants to win now, going 1-31-2 seasons. So you go trade for a veteran quarterback, and you, instead of taking a young rookie that's going to take a few years to develop, go take Nick Foles. That's probably your best bet. Or he'll get traded to the Buffalo Bills. They do have 19 and 20, I think it is, in the first round. There's several places a veteran quarterback like Nick Foles will fit, and at an all-time high, you'll be able to get a first-round pick, and maybe even a younger player to help you for the future. Like I said, their secondary's weak. That's something you need to look at. But I definitely don't think you part ways with Carson Wentz. That's a definite no. I don't care how hyped up he gets. You do not let go of Carson Wentz.
Alright, guys, that's been a reaction to the Super Bowl, how the teams fared.
We can cut this out. I didn't know this best part.
Anyways.
Okay. The facts, I want to say this right now. I just want to go ahead and say that Bill Belichick got outcoached so bad in the Super Bowl. It was absolutely horrendous. Tom Brady threw for 505 passing yards, the most ever in a playoff game. The defense at least kept you in the ball game. I mean, you gave up 41 points, okay, but at least they got the ball back. This is on you, Bill. This is on you. Malcolm Butler started every single game in the regular season, played 90-something% of all the snaps, played 100% of the snaps in the postseason. He practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, leading up to the Super Bowl, and all the way until he even did warm-ups, thinking he was the starter. And then coming into the national anthem, he gets told, you're not playing. You got a grown man over there crying on the sidelines because you just told him he wasn't playing in a Super Bowl. I mean, he got you here. And now they were, I forgot what I read, but it was like they were giving up so many yards at the beginning of the season. They shorted up, and what is the best defense since week 5 or whatever? They improved it tremendously, giving up way less points. Don't you think Malcolm Butler had something to do with that? I would say so, because as soon as the game started, you throw Eric Rowe in there, who was designated as the slot corner. Now he's the second corner on the depth chart, guarding Alshon Jeffrey, who got beat early. He had 3 receptions for 73 yards. That's a tremendous yards per catch. That's got just burnt. I don't know if it was because he used to be a Philadelphia Eagle and you wanted to show him something, but the bridge is burned with Malcolm Butler. That is done. And what I don't get is when you see Nick Foles throwing all over the schoolyard on your team. I mean, wouldn't you think, oh, Butler, get in there real quick.
We need you in there.
We need you to get in there and shore up the defense, because then you got Stephon Gilmore playing the number 1 receiver. He usually just plays the bigger receiver. I don't get what that was all about. He usually plays the bigger receiver, takes out the bigger threat. I mean, if he'd have been on Zach Ertz and Malcolm Butler been on Alshon Jeffrey, I think they don't win the Super Bowl. That changes that game completely if Malcolm Butler would have played. You got completely outcoached. This is on you, Bill. And if it was any other coach, it'd be a fireable offense after that. That is just horrendous. Malcolm Butler would have won you that Super Bowl. Tom Brady should be mad. Everybody in that locker room should be mad. But Bill had to be hard-headed and say that I'm not going to play you because I don't even know. I remember earlier in the season he was supposed to get traded and never did. This is on you, Bill. This is on you.
Alright, guys, that's it for the Gridiron Gurus. The first of many videos to come out. The off-season is here, and now we got mock drafts, just everything. Tons of videos. Expect your favorite team's video to come out, what we think about their team and what we think they're going to do in the draft. So until next time, that's the Gridiron Gurus signing out.